nosotros y Dios creció y creció hasta que nada que nosotros pudimos hacer funcionó. Intentamos vez tras vez alcanzarlo, pero nunca pudimos avanzar hacia Él por nuestras propias fuerzas. Las furiosas aguas de nuestro pecado en el fondo del abismo nos recordaron que si fuéramos a fallar, no habría segunda oportunidad. Seríamos engullidos por nuestra desesperanza. Casi nos habíamos dado por vencidos cuando Dios nos dijo: yo tengo un plan. Envió un Salvador.
Es martes por la noche. Tu programa de política e información social comienza ahora. It's Tuesday evening. Your award-winning political and information show, Listen to Me, starts now. Bueno, mi gente, hoy es martes bendecido. Today is Tuesday, and we're here in the award-winning, won by the Stockton Penny Awards. It's May 1st, Mayo Primero. We made it to a new month, and almost to the middle of the year. Wow. All right. Mi gente, estamos aquí encendido, entusiasmado y enchulado de la vida. We are enthused and happy to be with you in another edition of your the award-winning show. Listen to Me, here with Caldwell and Calhoun, that she's done with her finals finally, and she's here with us. Anyway, there's fuego, and it's not fuego popular in Puerto Rico. I mean, literally, there's gas, tear gas, police bleeding from their injuries, riots going on galore in Puerto Rico. Again, mi gente de Puerto Rico, ustedes creen que los paros van a resolver algo. You think that the riots and the strikes are going to solve something, and it is not going to solve anything. It is going to aggravate the situation. Va a agravar la situación. To my brother and my friends that are newspaper reporters, I hope to God that everything is good and you guys are not hit. Enzo Torres from Enzo TV, Carlos José Vázquez, my brother, mando saludos a Carlos José Vázquez. Espero que está todo bien por allá por Ponce. Vamos a ver si podemos tener reportajes desde Ponce, Puerto Rico para la semana que viene, next week. We're going to try and see if we can get some reports. We're going to gather reports from Ponce, Puerto Rico, to see what happened today, May 1st, in the strikes. Please, I urge you to understand, Puerto Rico's situation is very simple to solve. What we have to understand is that politicians, when they're looking for the votes of Puerto Rico, they have to start talking about statehood. Whether they do not like it, yes or no, statehood is the only option that will be able to help Puerto Rico come out of its current crisis. Not in the long run, because we're not saying that statehood is going to be the magic wand that's going to solve all the problems, but it's going to start to ease tension first. The oversight board will go. No state in the State of the Union has been controlled by an oversight board. Only territories are subject to that type of law. 2, once Puerto Rico becomes a state again, for the first time in 150 years plus, Puerto Rico will have voice and vote in the United States Senate and voice and vote of 5 congressional delegates in the House of Representatives. The only thing that we need is one of these politicians to be able to say, hey, Puerto Rico needs to make a decision between statehood and independence. Second, there's a second ballot that needs to be corroborated where we say, okay, we're going to elect our 2 senators and our 5 or 6 congressmen to the House of Representatives and then seat them. Because if we have 2 shadow senators and we have 2 shadow state congressmen and they have not yet been sit, let's elect them outright. We need a law that will outline the senatorial districts, will outline the congressional districts, and also pay. So if you could have, I don't know how many billions of dollars to pay for, use American taxpayers' money to fund the oversight's payroll and education payroll, you can also bankroll this special referendum to finally ask the people of Puerto Rico once and for all, this is it, this is the one big kahuna, ask them between statehood and independence. The colonial rule has no place in the ballot. It has no place. Y lo estoy diciendo en inglés para que los políticos americanos entiendan correctamente. The lobbying that the colonial party wants to try to establish is not working. Politicians, Governor Rick Scott, you have to come out in favor of statehood for Puerto Rico. If you want the Puerto Rican vote, you have to come out with something in the United States Senate. When you become a senator, the first thing you have to do within the first 100 days is a bill that will ask Puerto Ricans 2 questions. One question, do you want statehood or independence? Question 2, which are your senators and your congressmen? They have to elect them. And if the statehood wins by 51 majority, that second ballot is certified. If the independence movement wins, the second ballot is invalidated. That is how simple it can be. But the United States Senate now has to take this. Senator Marco Rubio, you won the primary of Puerto Rico. You owe the Puerto Rican people. So quit pandering for votes. Quit pandering for stupid things that can be helped. And with all due respect, I'm going to say this in an open letter, in an open statement to Senator Bill Nelson. Quit claiming to be the hero of the Puerto Rican people, because I still have to see what have you done for the Puerto Rican people. Writing letters, en serio, escribir cartitas al presidente de los Estados Unidos demandando que se le dé el dinero de FEMA que ya estaba propuesto. You really want me to think that your letters have so much weight that President Trump lays awake at night talking to Melania? Melania, look what Senator Bill Nelson is telling me. I have to help the people of Puerto Rico. That's already in motion ever since President Trump has started helping the people of Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. And again, this stupidity that President Trump reacted slowly, you're forgetting something. It doesn't take 4 or 5 minutes to go from Florida to Puerto Rico, or from Washington, from New York, from Texas, from Louisiana, where the supplies were getting to from the United States to Puerto Rico, and they got there. You still want to create more mirrors and smoke by saying that now you want to commission an investigation on why Puerto Rico is still without power. Senator Bill Nelson, get your foot out of your mouth for not using another orifice, and try to do something right in your last term, because when Senator when Governor Rick Scott becomes senator, he's going to do more than what you're doing. But you don't have the decency to claim that you're the hero of Puerto Rican people. You know, what next? Calhoun Yulín is going to make a shrine, claim that you're the Maria Teresa de Calcuta for the Puerto Ricans? Baloney, bullcrap, poppy seeds, a crock of baloney, big crock. Big bags of manure is what you're pushing, Senator Bill Nelson. And that is why you're going to lose. And that is why you have to understand that the Puerto Rican people are not stupid. Okay? Now, you understand, ustedes entienden que la política es una cuestión de sobar egos. Politics is an ego massaging exercise. Rick Scott did something really, really good. He was in Cilantro Restaurant. He was in Kissimmee. He was in the bulk of the blue part of the I-4 corridor, knocking on doors, talking to leaders, and turning ideas into facts. Okay? He's not a talker. He's a doer. Bill Nelson, hello? Echo. There's a difference between just writing letters and hoping that the postman will deliver it to Pennsylvania Avenue than Governor Rick Scott doing stuff. Two polar opposites. One thing I need to tell politicians of the Republican Party: do not listen to the blah, 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 because Puerto Ricans even though they naturally caucus with the Democratic Party, they lean more to NPA than anything else. Okay? And you want me to prove this to you? I physically was in the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and I was picking up signatures for Gina Perez Calhoun, and there were a lot of people, first, that they were out of state coming to the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Second, those that were out of district, of Gina's district, wanted to know more about this Puerto Rican woman that was running for District 4. And when I asked them their party affiliation, they said NPA. Probably they didn't want to tell me, or probably they're Democrats, but they're identifying with NPA, no party affiliation. So the Republican Party has the possibility, regardless of the fake media, trying to persuade people to not engage. And Typhoon Lou Marine, this is a message for you. If you do become chairman of OCREC, you have to put your mouth where your words are going. You have to create a permanent coalition with Pastor Gary Berrios, and you have to maintain that presence in the Puerto Rican community year in and year out.
Well, first he has to actually say the words, because he hasn't really said that he supports statehood or Puerto Ricans in general.
Well,
so first he has to say it to the public.
Well, believe me, he's gonna have to say it physically in OCREC, because that's one of the reasons I'll return to OCREC when the former chairman steps down and this new chairmanship or this new board gets up. There's going to be a lot of questions that I personally going to ask before I submit my application to become part, for the 7th time, part of OCREC, because it's been 7 times, and the last time, you guys know what happened. They kicked me and other members of HRO. They kicked me out. Physically did not register us, so we could not vote in the elections. So first of all, OCREC board has to have clear and transparent rules on how membership's going to work and expire. Clear transparency on ethnic relations, both with the African American community, with the Puerto Rican community, with the Latino community, how they're going to integrate that. That's very, very important. So for the new chairman, whoever it is, be Randy Ross, be it Lou Marine, I don't care. Whoever it is going to be much better than what was there now. I'm sorry.
And I'll say this in air. I don't agree with JJ. I'll leave it at that for now until the elections come. I've made it clear to him that I don't agree with him for certain reasons. But, one thing, I'm going to keep my sources anonymous. I'll tell you off air. But one thing that really struck me, that someone attached with the Republican Party, who has a big name, who everyone knows, they said, I'm not going to use a pronoun because I'll really give it away. Right. They said that, it's not all, and quote unquote, who they are friends with Lou Marine, said it's not all about the Puerto Ricans. And my mother said, well, in 5 years, we're going to be the majority.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
And they go, well, when that time comes, we'll deal with it then.
That's right.
And I said, do we deal with war when it comes, or do we prepare for it? Do we stock up our ammo? Do we stock up our weapons? Yes. Exactly. I said, this is going to turn into Osceola County, where the Puerto Ricans became the majority, and the Republican Party got scared, resented us, and the Democrats took advantage of it.
Exactly.
And this is what the Republican Party is not ready. They're not ready for Hispanics. They don't want to admit that they are. They don't even want to say that it's going to happen, because it's the honest truth. The Republican Party needs to support Gary. Any person who is a part of the Republican Party, they need to support the Hispanic outreach. Because I'm telling you right now, the Democrats have been on it for the last 15, 20 years. We're behind the ball game. So we need to get those votes. We need to get those people that are registered independent or Democrat. We need to switch them to Republican. And we need to let them know that we care about them. Because for the longest time, before the hurricane, no one in the Republican Party, besides Hispanic Republicans, gave 2 toots.
Exactly. And we are going to try and get Pastor Gary Berrios, to come to our show.
He's actually in Miami right now. I thought he was joking with me. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to Miami to party," and I said, "No, you're not." And he just checked in Miami.
Yep. So he was going to try and be with us today, but he's in Miami, so no problem. We understand that. We are going to try and get him for a show so we could talk to what his efforts are, what's going on with his Hispanic efforts. HRO has always been a part of his efforts. We've gone to his training seminars, and we support 100%. The thing of it is that with OCREC, again, OCREC is in a flux. OCREC is the branch where those precinct campaign, and you have to understand, even though it is not a paid position, it holds so much power because it is the branch where precinct captains are created, where the organization and the structure and foundations are created. Unfortunately, we have to move it from a social club to that function again.
Well, there's other recs that, each precinct captain, they're supposed to have monthly reports. They're supposed to go out into the community and get more members. And that's not what OCREC's doing. Mm-hmm. And our current chairman has not done that.
For many elections.
Our membership is down, completely down. You go to our meetings and it's a bore. Mm-hmm. And there's no passion, there's no fire, and we need to get people fired up every year, no matter if it's a presidential election or not, or if it's an off year. There's always elections going on, there's always special elections, and we need to get our members involved. And they're not involved, they're lazy. And I said this on Facebook, and I upset a lot of Republicans, and I could really care less about who I offend at this moment. Mm-hmm. Republicans do not care about Hispanic. Well, let me rephrase that. But a lot of Republicans, know who I'm talking about, do not care about Hispanics unless it's convenient to them, or even minorities for that matter. Yeah. They do not care unless it benefits them or it's the flavor of the month. They really don't. Mm-hmm. And you see that. You see people that go to Michaela Nick's kickoff, or that have gone to other kickoffs that are, Hispanics or blacks or whatever. They've never gone to a kickoff for a Hispanic or a black person before until it behooved them. And I'm like, you're a hypocrite. Unless your face is plastered on a board where you're like, I'm here. I'm at this kickoff. Look how great I am. Look, I'm taking a picture with the candidate. See, I'm for minorities. I'm for diversity. They don't care.
They don't.
And that's what we need to realize. And I am tired. You guys can, those of you who are watching who are in Orlando, you can say that I'm saying this because I'm a 20-year-old who doesn't know what she's talking about. She has a big mouth. But in reality, I'm telling the truth. And I'm calling you out, and that's why you're going to belittle me and say I'm a 20-year-old who doesn't know what she's talking about. But for sure that if I was a 50-year-old, you'd be mad.
Oh yeah, because the thing of it is you're the voice of the future, and the voice of the future within the Republican Party is mad. Oh, and basically that is where the swirl of these elections are so important, especially in the midterms, because even though they think that voter turnout, this is the thing about Puerto Ricans and Latinos, they think that we are in the same chasm of past elections. Well, it's a midterm. People are not interested in midterms. You have to understand, Puerto Ricans love to vote. Except for the last referendum where only that statehood won for 97% and there was a very low turnout, it was because they're tired of politics. When it concerns them with their livelihoods wherever they are in New Jersey, in Texas, in Florida, in Illinois, they vote out in droves and they push the voter turnout beyond 50%. Yeah. So we're talking almost between a 60 and 70% voter participation, and if you look at the data, don't believe me, look at the data in the past elections. The thing is that Puerto Ricans are coming in. They think that the fake media wants to push the dilemma. Oh, the Puerto Ricans caucus with the Democrats. Okay, those that are coming from New York. Yeah. The ones that are coming from the island are registering no party affiliation because they need to understand what's going on. It's not the same type of politics in the islands that is in the island. That's number one. Number two, they're studying both parties because they want to know what they offer. Plus, they want to participate in both primaries.
Well, not only that, the first thing you need to say is, well, why did you move to Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Because they voted with their feet. They're saying because the economy is great, there's jobs, I can afford a house here. Well, then, yeah, you can do all of those wonderful things because we have a Republican governor, we have a Republican House, and we have a Republican Senate. That's the only reason why we have a booming economy and we have a balanced budget and we're able to do all these wonderful things and we don't have state income tax because we have a Republican government in Florida. And that's what we need to make that clear to them. People that are coming from New York, my mom's talking to her best friend and her daughter wants her to move to Massachusetts and she's a registered Democrat. She's not really a Democrat, but she's a registered Democrat. She goes, no, I don't want to move to Massachusetts. There's state tax, city tax, county tax, I'm like...
all types of taxes.
I'm like, yeah, because it's run by Democrats. Duh. I'm like, so... yeah, you're a Republican. That's what I wanted to whisper to her.
Yeah, it's like they say. While I was in the Puerto Rican parade, I confronted a group, and they come up. Oh, we're tired about politics. So because I asked them, he says, well, now that you're here in the United States, we can make a little bit more voice about Puerto Rican being a state. And they says, I'm not interested in politics. And it says, yeah. Because you're not supposed to mix this with politics. This is dignity. We're talking about millions and millions of United States citizens that do not have a voice nor vote in the United States Senate nor Congress. The immaterial of this is you cannot be fatigued because of the repetition of this. You have to understand that it's not a politics thing. It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democratic thing. It's a dignity thing. We have to give the Puerto Ricans in the island the advantage of saying statehood or independence. We cannot confuse or muddy the water with colonial options because that is what created the $72 billion debt. The colony, ELA, Estado Libre Asociado, created this problem. The Democrats in the 1950s created this problem. That is the truth. So, Congressman Darren Soto, what have you done for the Puerto Ricans? Congressman Stephanie Murphy, what have you done for the Puerto Ricans? Congressman Val Demings, what have you done for the Puerto Ricans? You know what? It's not the three-pointer. It's zero. Zero. You have done zero for the Puerto Rican people. Y es hora de que los puertorriqueños en Osceola County, los puertorriqueños en Lake Nona, los puertorriqueños en cada parte del Distrito 4 de los centros congresionales miren a otros candidatos. Okay? You have to elect Gina Perez in District 4. You have to elect people that are in tune to in those congressional districts. We have to get rid of these Congress people.
You want to know what's funny is we were just talking about this. So when Gina goes to walk, we have targeting those who are super strong Republican voters. And majority of them, we knock on their door, they see Perez, they slam the door on us. And they assume she's a Democrat. And then the Democrats that, we're not really counting on their signature. If we get it, great. They're more than friendly. Mm-hmm. They open their door, and most of them are like, we'll have a coffee and conversations at our house. We love you. We need you. And I'm like, really? We want to elect Gina. We should want to elect Gina. We complain that we don't have representation in our government, which we lack it severely. I only know of Bob Cortez.
Yeah,
that's
right.
a Republican, and Mildred Fernandez, who was an elected official. Yeah. We need more. Especially when Orange County in District 4, Puerto Ricans and Hispanics make up 42%.
42% of the district.
That's ridiculous.
As a matter of fact, with 42%, you could win. Could win the election.
There's 4,000 Puerto Ricans who voted in the 2016 election for Trump.
Okay. So
4,000 in District 4.
So there you go. So and believe me, out of those 4,000, 92% were Puerto Ricans that came from the island. If we could get that information, you would see that what I say is true. Why? Because if they come from New York, they're not New Yorkers. They're not going to vote for Trump.
No.
I know that. I know that for a fact.
They're coming here to turn Florida blue.
Exactly. So that's why we have to fight. And that's why we have to make sure Wayne Levinsky gets in. Anybody who's running against Darren Soto, Stephanie Murphy, Val Demings, we have to get those Congress people out of Congress, and we have to replace them with Republicans that will help President Trump get his agenda done first. Second, help truly the people of their district not pander to their political future, because that's what they really are. Please understand me. It's not that I don't like them. They may be patriots on their own level, like in Jurassic Park world. They may be patriots there, but for us, for the people that are living day to day, paycheck to paycheck, they have not done anything for their districts. Their congressional districts have not seen any improvement. Darren Soto, he wants lands for ecology and green stuff and environmental studies. Oh, whoop-de-doo. How many jobs does that create? You know how many jobs that created? 4 jobs. 4 jobs in his
And how much taxpayer money?
And how much taxpayer money is going to be invested? Millions. So that's the Democratic frame of mind. Spend money, increase the national debt, be servant of Japan, of China and the Soviet Union, and then they want to criticize the president for thinking to have collusions with Russia, when it's the Democrats that have the collusion with China and Russia. And what does the fake media do? The fake media does not report the truth. Los medios como Univision, Telemundo, CNN, MSNBC no dicen la verdad de lo que está pasando con el presidente de los Estados Unidos. No dicen la verdad de las falacias que están hablando los izquierdistas del Partido Demócrata. No quieren decir que la gente está ganando más chavos con los taxes de Trump. Trump's tax plan, they're working. People are getting more money, little by little, but they're getting the money. Oh, the Democrats, no, it's not fast enough. It's not fast enough. The same thing with Puerto Rico. The help didn't get there fast enough. Okay, if it didn't get there fast enough, why didn't I see Nancy Pelosi renting a barge from New York and de Blasio and Nancy Pelosi paddling towards Puerto Rico with supplies? You know what? In confidence, one of the most important people from Darren Soto told me that he couldn't take, why he didn't take generators, because he needed a seat for his briefcase. That's why he didn't, in the first helicopter ride that Congressman Darren Soto took, he didn't take any supplies. And you know why? Because he needed a seat for his briefcase. Come on, people. Mi gente, hay que despertar. Pregúntense, ¿qué ha hecho estos congresistas? ¿Qué ha hecho el Partido Demócrata en Osceola County? What has the Democratic Party really done in Osceola County? ¿Qué ha hecho el Partido Demócrata? Even if it's a non-partisan race, ¿qué ha hecho el Partido Demócrata en los distritos de Osceola, Orange County, parts of Seminole County? What have they really done? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right. It's 7:28. Scotland will be back with seeing if we could get our guest today, and we'll be right back. Estamos animados, estamos entusiasmados, enchulados. Listen to me.
Alanas Fantasy te ofrece lo mejor en joyería de fantasía, bueno, bonito y barato. Llamar al 321-439-8218 para su cita privada. Te llevaremos a la tienda donde ti. Alanas Fantasy, lo mejor en joyería de fantasía. Llama hoy.
Arroz rico, el arroz que le gusta a mi gente. Ay, ay. Porque yo quiero arroz rico, el mejor de Puerto Rico. Y eso lo sabe tu mamá. Porque yo quiero arroz rico, suertecito y granosito. Y eso lo sabe tu mamá.
Yo, cheque, Radio UNT te trae la información de cómo seguirnos por las redes sociales y por los apps. Así que, por medio de Twitter, Radio UNT_net. Eso es Radio UNT_net. Por Facebook, Radio UNT.net. Por Snapchat, Instagram y YouTube, Radio UNT. Eso es la letra U, la letra N y la letra T. No te confundas. Así que por los apps seguimos por medio de Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Stick, Google Play, todo bajo Radio UNT. Somos diferentes, somos diferentes. Spread the word, let it be heard. Yup.
I was tweaking, had my mama going bonkers. Yeah, you probably wouldn't believe it if it hadn't been for Jesus. I'd be still running around like I'm a gangster.
Alanas Fantasy te ofrece lo mejor en joyería de fantasía, bueno, bonito y barato. Llamar al 321-439-8218 para su cita privada. Te llevaremos a la tienda donde ti. Alanas Fantasy, lo mejor en joyería de fantasía. Llama hoy.
Bueno, mi gente, aquí estamos otra vez en Listen to Me. ¿Cómo estamos todo el mundo? Vamos a ver. Ajá. All right, we're here in the award-winning Listen to Me, and we got the connections going. We have a gentleman on the phone, Mr. Caldwell. How you doing today?
I am well. Yourself?
Fine. Mr. Caldwell, for those that are listening to us, please identify yourself, and you're running for a seat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you said, Matt Caldwell is the name, and running for the Commissioner of Agriculture, one of the 4 positions on Florida's cabinet, the position currently held by Adam Putnam in Tallahassee.
Okay, that's great. And
a quick question. What this is Scotland, by the way. For those who are listening who don't know you, what is your experience with agriculture? Because there's a lot that entails with the position than most people think. It's not just farming, but there is so much that goes into it. So if you want to kind of let those people know who really don't know what they do.
Absolutely. It really is a fascinating position. So there's a couple of things to remember about the way Florida's government's organized. Not only does the position have a lot of responsibilities within the department, but it is a member of the Florida cabinet. So the governor, the CFO, the Attorney General, and the Commissioner of Agriculture all serve together on the Florida cabinet. They're responsible for insurance and banking, utility siting, and land development disputes, all of your state property, your parks, your forests, your wildlife areas, your springs, your lakes, all of that falls underneath the cabinet, and the pension system, the clemency system, all of that's the responsibility of all 4 of those positions together. So you absolutely need to make sure that the candidates for those 4 jobs have an understanding of those issues and can really speak to this. But inside the department itself, obviously, as the Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services, ag is a huge part of its responsibility. Agriculture is still the number 2 industry in the state of Florida. Just a little tidbit I always point out for folks. You look at counties like Hillsborough, where Tampa is, or Dade County, Miami, and Palm Beach County. Those are obviously 3 enormous counties by population. There also are 3 highest ag value counties still in the state, between the strawberry harvest in Hillsborough County and the nursery business and exotic fruits and vegetables down in Dade County, the winter vegetables in Palm Beach. Really a great example of just how unique Florida is to have such a large population at the same time, such an incredible impact in agriculture. But again, the rest of the department and the responsibilities, it covers really all the blue-collar kind of jobs out there. So amusement parks and county fairs, oil changes, car repair, surveyors, pest control, irrigation, security guards, really a diverse portfolio. And then it's got all kinds of responsibilities for consumer services, the do not call list, charitable organizations. If you feel like you've been scammed by somebody in a sales situation, you file a complaint with the department and they investigate it. Responsible for pest and disease, mosquito control, the Florida Forest Service and all the fighting the wildfires. Really a pretty enormous and important department for sure.
Awesome. And can you give your background experience with agriculture and what makes you qualified?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate that. My family's been in Florida coming up on 200 years, and so pretty diverse heritage in just about every aspect of agriculture: cattle, citrus, row crops. My granddad grew up managing a feed store and had cattle himself, and I've grown up in Southwest Florida and really always had a passion for these issues. I got involved as a volunteer in the political world right out of college, and just speaking out about the things that I was passionate about, and that included water issues and ag issues there in Southwest Florida, Fort Myers, where I call home. And when I ran for the House in 2010, and I'm serving now my final term in the Florida House of Representatives, my number one choice was to be on ag and natural resources. I got to be on that subcommittee, ended up chairing it, and then chairing for the last 4 years the full committee above it. So pretty much every issue that's gone through the legislature for the last 8 years, and working with Commissioner Putnam on the variety of things and challenges we've had to deal with: nutrient criteria, environmental concerns, agricultural policy, water policy. I've either had the chance to carry the bill directly or overseen the policy development as the chair there in the House, and really a great opportunity the last 8 years to work on the legislative side of these issues, and I'm really excited about the possibility to go and be a champion for the things I think we need to get accomplished on the executive side, and really be setting that agenda and laying out a policy vision for the future.
So little do people know that also the Agriculture Commissioner deals with the concealed weapons permits and the fees for that. And Putnam has done a great job with lowering the fees, especially for military and vets. When you get elected, are you planning on carrying that? Are you planning on going further with it? And I know you are a big Second Amendment supporter, correct?
Yes!
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been a life member of the NRA before I ever ran for office, and had an A every single year. I've been in the legislature. I'm the only candidate in the race that's been A-rated every single year of my legislative service. And, look, some people find it a challenge. I feel like it's pretty simple. I believe what the Declaration and the Constitution say, that our rights come from our Creator, that, the politician doesn't give me my rights and my freedoms. They come as a result of being a unique creation of God. It's the way I voted and the way I'll continue to operate if I have the chance to oversee that program. And it is a very incredible program. We're the largest concealed weapons program in the country. About 1.9 million people currently registered for that. And as you mentioned, Commissioner Putnam has led on trying to make the program more accessible and work for the people. And we, in the legislature, implemented that. We started to take the responsibility out of the regional offices. There are 6 regional offices for the department around the state, and they really couldn't handle the volume of interest efficiently. And we said, well, look, the tax collectors, there's one in every single county. They already have staff who understand how to review documents, evaluate eligibility, and collect fees. Why don't we let the tax collectors do that in each of the 67 counties? And they started a pilot program, I think 6 years ago now. Really has become a wild success for concealed weapons, and then we went and built on that actually the last 2 years. And so now you'll go there to the tax collector's office to do your driver's license, to do any of your licenses for the state. And in fact, we rolled out a pilot program this last fall. People can now take advantage of, where you don't have to have multiple licenses. You can just get one license with all the different features, whether it's your hunting or your concealed weapons or your drivers, all as one feature. Save on the fees. You don't have to pay as much, and it makes life simpler on your wallet.
Wow, that is nice. Mr. Caldwell, so as Agricultural Commissioner, you're going to be taking care of like what happened with the Zika virus. You're going to be taking care of that. That's part underneath your.
Yeah, absolutely. So pest and disease is a major part of the department, and when it comes to response, it's the frontline defense. And you've got several counties around the state that have a robust and professional mosquito control, but most of the counties don't. And so they rely on the Department of Agriculture, where this responsibility is housed, to respond to those incidences. And you see it in other things as well. So the screwworm outbreak 2 years ago in the key deer down in the Keys in Monroe County, really a devastating impact on the deer population there. But even more so, if it had gotten out of the Keys and off the islands, it would have gotten into our beef population. And we're still a major part of the economic impact in the beef industry in the whole country. What we do in Florida is we raise the calves to 6, 7, 8 months years old, and then they go off to be fattened out west. And if we got quarantined because of a screwworm outbreak, you would have seen an absolute devastating impact on the beef industry. So over and over again, there's concerns that the department has to watch. When you deal with imports and exports, we're really the major import hub now for Central and South America. And you think about, for example, in Miami-Dade at Miami International Airport, that's the main hub for all the cut flower industry in the United States. So if you buy a bouquet of flowers anywhere in the country, 90% of those flowers come through Miami International Airport. They need to be inspected. You need to make sure we're not having pests and diseases come into the country and get spread into our flowers and our produce and crops. And just a really awesome responsibility and something that has to be watched over every single day.
And now that there was a report saying that there's an increase in infections caused by mosquitoes and ticks, is that something that we have to be scared here in Florida?
Well, I mean, scared's a relative term. I think people do need to be thoughtful and aware. Make sure you wear the appropriate clothes during the time of year when mosquitoes are active, and when it gets to be warmer and the ticks start moving around, be thoughtful about it. Keep an eye on it. If you're going in the deep woods, you probably want to make sure you use some kind of insect spray, but certainly make sure that you're checking for any kind of tag-alongs when you come out and leave the woods. But ultimately, if you deal with an outbreak, if you have some kind of pest that becomes a real danger, you're going to see the department respond and make sure that the individual pest gets eradicated before it becomes an epidemic throughout the whole state.
Oh, okay. And Scott?
So I'm hoping that Putnam becomes governor, but when you become elected agriculture commissioner, I know Putnam has done a lot, especially with Governor Rick Scott, for veterans that plan that they create camps for disabled vets. That there's a pool and it's completely designed for disabled vets, and there's about 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken. Will you be working when you get elected with Putnam to create more of those camps for disabled vets?
Absolutely. Commissioner Putnam was in the avant-garde on this question. He kind of pioneered having the Wounded Warrior Project utilized in our Florida forest system. So setting up specific opportunities for disabled veterans, folks that served our country and were wounded seriously as a result of that service. And so their ability to go hunt and enjoy the outdoors the way they might have beforehand obviously is much more limited. And so he pioneered the program of allowing specific hunts for just disabled veterans on the Florida Forest Service lands. Really been a huge success for those guys and gals who come back from combat, and obviously given a sacrifice that we all cherish and value, understand just how important it is for each of us, and the ability to give back to them in some small way, I think, has been a valuable tool, and I certainly would like to see it continue and expand in every way possible.
That's nice. That's nice. I need to ask you a question as a citizen. I know that you're a candidate for the Agricultural Commission, but I need to ask you: do you believe that all Americans should have equal rights?
Yes, I believe that's the Constitution says that all men are created equal, and by that meaning mankind. Your rights come from your Creator; they're not given to you by government. Right. So there's no question about that.
And so I'm Puerto Rican. My pet peeve is that America has to kind of ask Puerto Rico to make sure it chooses whether being state or not a state. You're
Yes,
very close to the current commissioner who's running for governor, Adam Putnam. Can you do me a favor? Can you ask him what his feelings are on statehood for Puerto Rico, since Florida has a history with Puerto Rico, since Juan Ponce de Leon came from Puerto Rico to discover Florida? And
pulled into Charlotte Harbor, right
Yeah.
where I'm from in Lee County.
yeah, so
Yeah.
if you could ask him what's his feelings about statehood for Puerto Rico, because there's 3.3 million American citizens that are in a citizenship that is not full. We do not have representation in Senate. We don't have representation in the House of Representatives. And we need American politicians to start speaking up for those American citizens. That's my humble request. So,
I think
to you as a citizen,
it's a very simple question. I mean, one of the fundamental principles of this country is self-determination, and if the territory of Puerto Rico wants to become a state, it should be up to them. And if the citizens there want to turn that into a state, there should be no obstacles put in their way for that. It's up to them and what they want to do. They're the residents, and as you say, they are citizens. And I think some people do forget that, and maybe get confused about how that works. But all citizens of residents of Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens. They have the rights of all the rest of us. Now, obviously, when they live in Puerto Rico, they do not have the representation in Congress because they're a territory instead of a state. But to my mind, it's a very simple question. What do the residents of Puerto Rico want to do? And that's what we should do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Caldwell. Is there a website that people can catch more information on you?
Absolutely. So my website is votecaldwell.org, votecaldwell.org, and everybody can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll also find the hashtag. We use hashtag 2Lane Travels with the number 2. If you type that in, you'll find a daily record of our travels around the state. We just finished in April doing 9,000 miles traveling the state, and puts us. We got in the campaign May 1st of last year, so here we are at the 1-year anniversary, and just around 64,000 miles traveling the state, making sure that we take the time to visit with everybody in every corner, and certainly would love to have folks take the opportunity to visit the website. You know, you can't win a campaign without grassroots and without financial support, and they'll find the opportunity to sign up for both when they
You are
visit
the
the
true
website.
grassroots candidate. I can attest to that. You are the true grassroots candidate. You're everywhere.
Well, we're definitely working hard.
Well, hopefully we could have you here in Orlando in our studios live. Our show's every Tuesday, so if you want to coordinate that with your people and see if we could make that happen, we would like to have you live here and continue to talk about your aspirations for the Agricultural Commission and what you want to do in that office.
Absolutely, I look forward to it. Nothing makes me happier than getting inside the studio and visiting one-on-one. It's really, I really do enjoy having the opportunity to talk with folks from around the state, and just like these really excellent questions tonight. I very much appreciate it.
I'm glad. And another thing is that also it can't always be time in the trail. So I am an avid user of guns in the gun range. So we have to go to a Central Florida gun range and probably bring Scotland along and shoot some rounds.
I'll kick all of you in the butt when it comes to the AR-15.
All right. We'll put up some zombie. We'll put up some zombie targets and see how many headshots she can get.
That'll be great.
We're Mr. Caldwell, and so you are in all social medias. Again, what's that website?
It is Vote Caldwell, VOTECALDWELL.org, votecaldwell.org.
Well, fantastic, sir. Well, it's been a pleasure and an honor. Scotland, any other questions that you may have for me?
No, you know I love you. We're Facebook friends, and you know, either you or Denise, you guys are both lovely people, and you both are godly people, and that's what we need in office. And you know, I'm looking forward to seeing where your campaign goes and you prospering, and you know, God's will be God's will, and I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope to see you, because you're everywhere, literally everywhere. I hope to see you again.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that, and I can attest that there's not a bit of things I've been able to accomplish in this process that weren't as a result of providence. So it's certainly been a blessing, and we're going to put our faith in Him and see where it takes us.
Amen. Well, Mr. Caldwell, thank you again for being in the award-winning show Listen to Me, and soon I will be looking you up on social media so I could send you a copy of the show in Facebook or YouTube. You could go to BBN Info and look up the show. All right.
Excellent.
All right, Mr. Caldwell. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Anything else before you go?
That's perfect. I really appreciate the opportunity, guys. You all enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you
so much. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Caldwell. That was Mr. Caldwell, Matt Caldwell. He's running for the Agricultural Commissioner. Wow. How old is he? He's young, right?
I can tell you that right now.
All right.
I have him on Facebook.
Yeah, because he
doesn't have his year. You can go to the
website,
Florida State Reps, and it gives his date of birth. No, he's a great guy. He is the grassroots candidate. He by far is literally everywhere. I was at the Seminole County Lincoln Day dinner, and he was there. He was at the Orlando Women's Republican Network's women's celebration. He was there. He's everywhere, and he doesn't send his reps. He's always there. It's kind of crazy. We need grassroots. That's the only way you can win, really. Money is great, but at the end of the day, you need to meet your voters, and you need to speak to your voters. And that's what he's doing. And, that's what candidates need to learn is that grassroots campaigning is grassroots. And that no one appreciates you knocking on their door more than active citizens.
That is true, because that is the first step of creating your own small populist movement. You gotta get out there, and you gotta try and promote yourself and get your message out there, just like we do every Tuesday.
He's 36 years old.
36. All right. Well, cool. That is good. So he is a God-fearing man, 36 years of age. He knows Adam, obviously, so that would be a great connection of him being Mr. Putnam being governor and him being the agricultural commission.
We do have Denise Grimsley coming late May.
Okay, she's also running.
She's also running for agricultural commissioner. She is a Florida senator.
Cool. All right, good. She's a Florida state senator, right?
Yes.
Good. So we're gonna continue to be booking very interesting candidates coming to here. Listen to me. Así que si usted es candidato a la gobernación, a donde seas, para el Senado, para cogedor de pejo, cazador de pejo, llámenos aquí al 321-439-8218 y vamos a hablar con usted a ver cuáles son sus ideas para que el gobierno de Orange County, Osceola County, Seminole County, cualquier condado en el estado de Florida, como se puede imaginar. And Scotland, these couple of last minutes, how was the Puerto Rican Day Parade? Tell us about that. It was tiring because you girls didn't answer my calls.
We were there at 8:30 in the morning and broke down the tent at 6:46. 6 o'clock, somewhere around that time. It was a tiresome day. It was exhausting. The parade, of course, Puerto Ricans always run late. The Puerto Rican parade was 2 hours late.
Wow.
They didn't start until 11:30. My dad got purple in the neck because he's literally stood in the heat for 2 hours.
Wow.
But it was great. I mean, of course, there's always that group of people who come and then they give Puerto Ricans a bad name. But it was a great vibe. It was a great environment. We definitely need more of these, but more Puerto Ricans need to come out. Especially the second wave of Puerto Ricans who are coming that are they're doctors and they're attorneys and they're
professionals.
Yeah, they're the ones that we need. The other ones I'm not. It was interesting.
The ones that use the Puerto Rican flag as a bikini or
or nothing at all. They just wrap themselves in the flag and there's nothing underneath it.
Yeah.
Where I was like, Dad, close your eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, Carlos, close your eyes. I was like, everyone, close your eyes. Don't look.
Then they get mad because the men are telling them bad words or stuff
or they get mad because they're called derogative names.
Exactly.
I'm like, you walk out of the house with nothing on. I mean, come on now. Class. That's all I ask for. Is class. That's it.
All right, yeah, because the thing of it is we have to show our pride of being Puerto Ricans, but don't take the flag and use it as underwear. Don't use it as a bra. Don't use it as a dress.
Just like I don't agree with the American flag being used as any
exactly.
of that.
You know, you know, the thing of it is that if you're going to use the American flag or the Puerto Rican flag, use it as what it's meant, a flag to represent the place where you were born and show some respect. But Scotland, it's true. We do have to do certain types of other functions that will cater to the professionals. Unfortunately, if you are in the island of Puerto Rico and you go to these festivals, it's not the professionals that go there. It's people like the Puerto Rican Day Parade. And again, there was a lot of people. Did you notice that there was a lot of people that came out of state to go to the show?
And way far away, like Ocoee. And there was one that was from the Maitland area. Yeah. And I'm like...
I met some people from Atlanta, Georgia.
I met someone from... I'm like, what do you guys... Like, what?
They
you guys
drove.
not have a Puerto Rican parade there?
No,
like,
they don't. I asked them, No, we don't. And that stuff. They don't even have a Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce up there. Talking about that. Anyway, but it was really good theme. There was some Christian music. There was I know that you had to do the Lake Eola run.
The Olympus Walk.
While I was there. And you know what? It was very interesting because you know how I had the little sheet and you had the zip codes. Mm-hmm. You know, I'd go, "Hey, do you live in these zip codes?" They go they look, and like, "Nope." And I keep on going, but some of them they were very honest and says, "Yeah, I live in this zip code." And says, "Hey, would you mind signing the petition?" They signed the petition.
Yeah, we had 30 something that day, and only like 9 were good.
9 were good.
Yeah, because a lot of people, zip code share in district. Mm-hmm. So, like 32825 is all District 4, 32828 is all District 4. But when we start getting to the Meadowwoods area, where it's bordering District 5 and 6, people are like, yeah, that's my zip code.
But it's not.
Or it could be a different county that shares the same zip code. Kissimmee shares the same zip code as us because we border with Lake Nona, and because our district borders the Osceola County border. Mm-hmm. So people can have the same district as us and live literally right across the border. So that it's a learning process.
Well, at least it was honest because they were saying, and it was kind of good interaction. I gave out a lot of paperwork on the yellow papers on Gina, so they were really interested, and that's the good. I think that's the good takeaway I took around from the parade. I would have liked to stay a little bit much, but I saw that the kiosk started breaking down around close to 7, and my wife called me and said, "Hey, I need you." So I had to kind of like split. But it was a very interesting. I saw some friends. I saw Gaby Calderon. I saw Franchi. I saw some people from Rumba. I saw some people from businesses. I saw Gabby. I saw Pastor Gary Berrios was there.
RPOF was there.
So RPOF was there. So that was kind of cool. And we do need these activities. One thing that we could say, the organization of the show was great. The organization of the structure of the administration of the show, there it has to get better because there was trash all over. Did you read the newspaper?
It was
2.2 tons of trash.
It was horrible. And the thing is you can only have so many volunteers because I doubt they paid any of them. Mm-hmm. And, that also says something about our community.
Yeah.
That, if you see a trash can that's over full, either don't put the trash in the full trash can, but also don't put it to the side of the trash can because you're doing it worse. Like, find another trash can, or better yet, take it in your car and take it home with you and throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Like, I saw so many people leaving and just throwing it to the side. And I'm like, are you that lazy? Can you not just take your bottled water with you to your house and throw it away there?
Again, it shows the entitlement, the experiment of the Democratic Party of what Puerto Rico is has damaged the social fabric of what Puerto Ricans are. Because when I was in the 60s, 70s, that wouldn't have happened. I went to many festivals between the 60s and the 70s, all the way into the 80s, and I saw the denigration flow.
Well, it's also a lot of the New Yorkers.
Oh, true.
Because the ones that wear the Puerto Rican flag as a bikini, those are the ones from New York.
Yeah.
Those are the ones where you see the little Puerto Rican like boxing gloves hanging. Most of them are from New York.
Yep.
That's what my grandmother did. And she's from, Margaret. That's what I'm going to call her. She's from New York, and she had that. And I'm like, but you've never visited Puerto Rico. I'm like, you claim to be Puerto Rican, but your great-grandparents were from Puerto Rico. And neither your parents nor your grandparents or you have ever visited Puerto Rico. I'm like, being Puerto Rican is a mindset. It's a culture.
Yep.
Being Hispanic, that's DNA.
Yeah.
But being Puerto Rican, like Soto, claiming he's a Cuban, and then
Puerto Rican.
Now Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
It's like you can't. And that feud between Puerto Ricans and Cubans, that's not going to go away for a while.
No.
My grandfather did not like the Cubans because after he came back from World War II, he came to the island, there was no jobs because all the Cubans took him.
Yep.
And he resented them ever since because then he had to leave his island where he was born and raised to go to New York because he couldn't find a job in Puerto Rico. So people need to learn their history and learn the reason why there's a feud because all the young Puerto Ricans don't understand that feud.
That's true.
They're just like, oh, well, my mother's Cuban and my father's Puerto Rican. Yeah, you should ask them why. Kind of thing. Like, don't pretend to be Puerto Rican when, you were raised around the whole Cuban culture your entire life. That's a different fight.
Well, cool. Next week, we'll try to have you and your mom back. Basically, we want to try and see what's going on with the fundraising, if we're going to have another fundraising event, and get some news of what Gina's doing. Yeah. And you're getting closer to the petition count, right?
Yes. The petition qualification, all the petitions are due May 21st.
May 21st?
So 2 weekends from
today.
Weekend. So
yeah. we're gonna do that final push to get the petitions, and we're gonna start those walks again. I know I'm trying to get a group for next Monday or Tuesday in the morning to see if we could do something before I come from the show. So
and we can create a 50+ packet for you, the 50-year-olds and up, because those are the ones that are home during the day.
All right. Well, cool. Well, anything else, Scotland, before we go?
This was a good show.
We had a good show. This one's in the history books. Remember, you could go to youtube.com/BBN info and see all of the archive shows. Bueno, mi gente, que Dios me los bendiga. I love you. Take care. Y hasta el próximo martes. Listen to me.